What's up, board game people? Ready for your weekly fix of board game news? Ready to see me hit my breaking point with a big name in the industry? Ready to find out what piles of treasure will be arriving at your door before the holiday season closes in on us? Let's talk shop. As always, I want to say a huge thank you to all of my Patreon supporters. It's been a rough road getting back to some semblance of normalcy, and your support has been amazing, so thank you so much. And quickly, let's see what's live on crowdfunding now. Starting on Gamefound, we have The Witcher Path of Destiny. This is the latest Witcher title from Go On Board in the form of a tableau building card game. With high quality components, a more compact setup, and a smattering of handsome miniatures, this looks to be an easy back for Witcher fans hungering for even more for their collections. Freshly launched, Gamefound is also hosting the Secrets of the Lost Tomb 10th Anniversary Edition. This is an epically remastered edition that's bringing a whole new slew of add-on expansions. Brings the game to a whopping total of 16 expansions. Secrets of the Lost Tomb is a love letter to the classic dungeon crawlers, while still pushing the envelope and perfecting the basics. It's a must-see for any dungeon crawler fan, and it's my pick of the week. And from pick of the week to a sleeper pick, Dream Escape is a game I've had my eye on for quite some time, and I'm very excited to see it finally hitting crowdfunding. Trapped in the dream world by the Elder One himself, you must resist the madness in a nightmarish realm full of otherworldly dangers. Dream Escape is a solo or cooperative shared RPG survival horror experience. They do have an excellent job on the production value, and the all-in price is pretty reasonable. I look forward to finding out more in the weeks to come. So no joke, this is a busy time of year, with so many projects targeting your wallet. Over on Kickstarter, things get even scarier. First up is another top pick for the week that just launched. Spiritfire has hit Kickstarter and is coming in swinging with Onebula's no-combat twist on narrative survival and discovery. This game is truly something different. It's a personal journey that, while it's shared with other players, has you focusing on your character, your goals, your path, and your place in the world. The price point here shouldn't kill your holiday budget either, with the core game offering coming in at around $100 and only a few add-ons on offer currently. Hulk smash wallet! Marvel Dice Throne is back on Kickstarter with the Xmen in tow. Catch all your favorites and even a special edition Deadpool mini with this latest edition of the smash hit. If you missed the first campaign for Marvel Dice Thrones, they have you covered as well. You'll have to dig deep, but you can grab pretty much everything for around $450, getting you both the old and the new. Finally, UBoat has launched a reprint collector's edition campaign, complete with a ridiculously large, nearly meter-long U-boat miniature, upping the ante for the award-winning game and taking table presence to an 11. Is it practical or necessary? Absolutely not. But a nearly meter-long U-boat is pretty dang cool when it comes to collector's pieces. Check it out for yourself on Kickstarter now. Now let's turn our eyes to the news. The final packages for Wave 2 shipping of The Witcher Old World are officially out the door. They've posted several apologies to backers for both the slow speed of the second wave delivery and that retail was prioritized over backers. This is a lesson that in today's crowdfunding space should be obvious by now, but it's still being learned by many companies across the industry. Let's hope they can stick to their backers' first plan for the next project, The Witcher Path of Destiny. Nanolith, the cyberpunk RPG board game, is moving through the layout phase of editing, and things are shaping up quite nicely. This month, they've shared a copy of the rulebook with us, and while there's still some corrections to be made, it's in great shape. Card design is complete, and physical copies are being created for proofing. Art for the comics will be wrapped this month as well. If you happen to be thinking about late backing, they have a special deal going on right now. If you purchase one of the promo minis from their site, you'll get a 15% discount code for a late pledge of the game. That's a great way to get a copy if you've been on the fence and need a little convincing. A quick update for Sea of Legends Vengeance of Empires is posted and pre-production samples are in. They're making some small tweaks and corrections with the factory in preparation for mass production. While metal coins and notoriety tokens have sold out on the Backerkit, they were able to squeeze out a few more copies of the Bob Kell miniatures pack, so if you want one, act fast. More production news coming very soon. Marvel Zombies continues shipping at its snail's pace, but games are on the horizon. For the US, many West Coast bound containers were delivered, and the rest are still at seas and due in port by mid to late October. Most Asian pledges have been delivered, and in Australia, they're down to the last few mixed up shipments. For Canada, the first container has arrived and pledges are going out. Finally, in Europe, the containers should be at the hub now. Fresh off the thrill of delivering the Gambler's Chest, the Kingdom Death team is pushing the Black Knight into production this month. These 1.5 expansions are truly living up to the term, and the Black Knight will come with a full-fledged gold stamp box and upgraded rulebook of its own. The map tiles, miniatures, cards, and tokens all look to add up to one of the most epic expansions to date. And they're not resting with this win. Next up, and hot on the heels of the Black Knight, is the Frog Dog expansion, which should be in the factory's hands by the end of October, making it the first KDM content that we'll be getting in the new year. If nothing else, the pace of the updates and the progress is exciting to see. It finally feels like they have control of the project and are hitting a good stride. A new legendary card pack supporting changes from the GCE may be on the far horizon, but only after the full effects of the chest's content dump are felt. Finally, the hard plastic showdown board is tooling complete, and pre-production samples should be in hand very soon. Expect pictures with the next update. Black Friday will see a huge update focusing on the Campaigns of Death, the next massive piece of the 1.5 campaign that's in the hopper. I have to admit, the latest update from Primal Awakening has me just a tidbit worried. They're showing off some white box samples from the factory made to demonstrate the look, fit, and form of the product before production begins, and these boxes have quite a bit of wasted space. While I'm all for keeping the miniatures and cards secure and protected, in today's shipping climate, a little wasted space equates to a lot of wasted money. These are sizable boxes coming in large numbers, and thus the shipping estimates of yesteryear are out the window. They're postponing the closure of the Pledge Manager and collection of shipping for as long as they can to try and negotiate better shipping rates for everyone. In short, you have some time, but best prepare for a large shipping charge if you're like me and you went all in on Primal. Fractal Beyond the Void is beginning to hit ports around the world and will soon be in backers' hands. Containers in the US were held by customs for inspection, but they've been released to the shipping hub. They'll be shipping out a small batch of packages to ensure quality and practices are nailed down before shipping out the bulk of pledges. In Europe, the ship is still en route, and they're still hoping to keep to their timeline for that region. For Asia and VFI orders, they're working through administrative tasks needed to continue fulfillment. Hopefully we'll hear of copies hitting backers' doorsteps very soon. Fulfillment is complete for Resident Evil. If you haven't received your package, check the latest update for specific instructions on what to do in each region. If you had a chance to dive in the game, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. I got my package, but I haven't had a chance to unbox it and bask in its glory just yet. Elden Ring's latest update is all about scaling and balancing. One of the hardest aspects of designing a multiplayer game is making an encounter feel challenging but workable for a single player, then taking that same encounter and keeping it challenging while maintaining the spirit of the fight when there are 4 players involved. Here, they're planning to rely on the number of activations allowed between the pool of players to maintain the challenge. Using a Spirit Ash summon might utilize one of these activations, and the risk versus reward adds another variable for players to balance. There's a ton of way to build choices and strategy into such a system. From what I can see, they seem to be making excellent choices that keep the gameplay well in line with the spirit of the source material. Now hopefully the fun follows. Heroes of the Shire moves ever closer towards production. A few minor tweaks are being made before moving ahead with the process though. The tutorial sheet has been shifted to a slightly thinner, less sturdy stock as it's only used for a short period of time. Spell mastery boards are now being made on higher quality stock, and the Warlock's Demon Form overlay is getting the same treatment. The Canadian shipping increase is now live on Backerkit for affected backers. Beyond that, they're planning 2 more arena tournaments, polling their Discord server for new hero types, and planning new expansion content due to hit crowdfunding next year. The last objective to tackle for Skyrise is the 3D version of the floating islands. They've been working on perfecting these components, and the pictures say it best. They're looking pretty good. They want to remind everyone that they're very close and appreciate our patience. Let's check in with the foul neighbors over at Townsfolk Tussle. First off, a huge congrats to Rachel and Tony from the team who tied the knot this last month. This update, we're getting a look at the newly formatted update chart with one key change aside from larger print. A date. The date of December 5th when they'll be closing the Pledge Manager for good and getting that lovely thumbs up on the order volume confirmed slot in the progress chart. And moving this train closer to production. Miniature samples are being shared, and we have another great cast of characters just begging for some paint and play. The final North American container for OrcQuest Warpath has been received by the hub, and shipping should be complete. If you have any issues with your orders, check the update for the various region-specific support email addresses. The quest editor has also been launched online for those eager to create some content of their own. Earth Under Siege Flashpoint is moving its way through the production process and hopes to share some photos from the factory floor soon. But for now, we'll just have to make do with the fact that the game is coming along. Translations are shaping up, with German translations slated to be finished this next month. French is coming along nicely, and Spanish and Italian have plenty of time to finish before the games are delivered. This update goes in depth on the mission design for several of the game's mission types. If you're interested to know some of the challenges that await, check out the update for yourself. Dungeons of Doria packages bound for the US are lagging behind their European counterparts just a bit. The ship bound for the US should be departing soon, though. UK, Germany, and Asia already have their packages at hubs, which will be repacked and then sent to backers in sturdier boxes. Print and play files have been updated to include the 30 additional trap events from the stretch goals, after a mistake excluded them from being uploaded. Spiel seems to have gone great for the team, and hopefully they can all catch their breaths and recover their voices while the games navigate the fulfillment process. Harakiri Blades of Honor checked in another large update, this time taking us through the increase in box sizes. Act 1 and 2 are 20% larger than they had thought, and this has caused them to rethink and optimize the boxes quite a bit. The Fear and Hope expansion will now be included in the larger Act 1 and 2 boxes. While shipping these boxes will surely bring an upcharge, Synergic is eating the excess and will not be asking for more shipping. The Exploration Phase rulebook is now up for download and feedback should anyone have interest in taking a peek. This update gives us a glimpse of the various box covers, campaign books, and a close look at the various crossovers titled Wanderers from other games that will be making an appearance in Harakiri. They close the update out with a look at Jubai's Wrath and the personal mission books for the various characters that should help bring them to life and ground them solidly in the story. So it's official. Nova Aetas Renaissance Wave 1 is on the water and headed to ports around the world. US copies should land around November 16th. Australia should have theirs in port, and Europe will hit port any day now. Hopefully we'll get updated delivery timelines from the various hubs very soon. I can't wait to see this one on the table and hear some honest opinions on it. Let's wade into the murky waters of Middara for a bit. Nothing bad about Middara this week, I just like the alliteration. Things get a bit technical here, so let's try and get this right. Wave 1 Middara reprints had a small hiccup with a few of the map tiles getting printed way too dark, so there'll be a small talk box in the packages with the replacement tiles that look much bolder and brighter. Wave 1 seems to include the 1.2 version of the game with a nifty new insert. The 1.2 update packs, the cloth bags, and the playmat reprints. These are due in port in the US on November 4th, Canada on November 11th, the EU on November 11th, and should already be in Australia. They're scrambling, having called in another designer to help close everything out for Wave 2, but it will not be done by the end of October as hoped. They still have a ways to go, but the update spells out their progress for the many different subsections of the project. No new estimate just yet, just a firm 74% total progress for Act 2 and 3. We also got a look at some of the freshly scaled up miniatures for Act 2 and 3. Lupercalia 23 packs are fulfilled in the US, shipping in the EU, Canada, and Australia now. Lupercalia 2022 kits should ship by November 30th in all regions. I know we're all rooting for them. Give them some time, and I'm sure they'll deliver spectacularly. Everyone has some skeletons in their closet, and this will ring especially true for your Dark Quarter characters. This update, they're talking through the skeleton system that has you choose a decoration for your character's hypothetical closet that will follow them throughout their time in the Dark Quarter, and will help to shape and transform that character as you play. This should add some spice and flavor to the pivotal choices that each player will make throughout the campaign, and hopefully it'll keep things fresh on subsequent playthroughs as well. So what's your skeleton? A dark secret, a tragic past, or even something juicier? Let me know in the comments. Work on weather cards in the last 2 scenarios for Waste Night Beyond the Horizon is now complete, and Polish proofing and editing is complete. Next up is a thorough translation and double check to English before everything can be localized in other languages. Final versions of the rulebook and Kickstarter guide are now available for download in English. This project has been a bit of a long haul, but dry land seems to finally be coming into sight. This is such a busy fulfillment time for so many projects. I don't know about you, but I've had a steady trickle of packages to try to hide away on my overstuffed game shelves. Ivion Season 2 is being delivered now, and for many of you, you should be seeing it in the next week or two. US shipping is partially complete, but in full swing. Canada is also getting some packages out, but they've had to ship some missing items to the hub causing a slight delay. Asian packages should be going out very soon, and European copies hit port just a few days ago. Sadly, they're still waiting on word from the Australian and New Zealand shipments. If you've had a chance to try it out, make sure and head over to Board Game Geek and leave them a rating. You can also check out late backing for Season 3 on Gamefound now. Playtest results are in for Werewolf the Apocalypse Retaliation, and they're collecting and assessing notes to help improve the game. Hopefully suggestions land on eager ears at Flyos, as they cannot afford a repeat performance of vampires. Progress this month is directed at shoring up expansions. The Euthia team is still hard at work pumping out the reprint and expansion campaign, and this month they're sharing a closer look at the new monsters in the monster card pack. Special effects for these newcomers include healing, damage reduction, chaos, and silver magic. Testing of Stormsunder's final acts is not finished. Their predicted end of testing came and went, and they still have work to do. They hope to finish this month, but no promises. Signature skills have been identified as a weak area that needed attention. In early game, they were powerful, but quickly they became outclassed by regular skills in late game. So now they offer scaling with level and some other slight tweaks that should keep them relevant throughout the campaign. Now let's send some love to Ludic Dragon Games. They seem like they could really use it. Production of Dungeon Universalis is moving forward, and while shipments are predicted to begin in November, they're being quite hard on themselves over the small hiccups and delays in the production process. Overall, this campaign is moving forward incredibly well, and I really have to hand it to them. They've shored up their processes, and their experience and flexibility is showing. While I appreciate the pursuit of perfection as a backer, I'm delighted with the timeline for this project overall. As a side note, the pledge manager for this project is officially closed. The dungeon is coming soon. Now from the good to the... yeah, I'm just going to say it. It's bad. Mythic is taken to the airwaves with a nice slimy coat of "it's not you, it's us" added to their communications for Darkest Dungeon Wave 2. They're back, waving their hands around and demanding more contributions from backers so they can fund other projects they've already wasted backers' monies from. Remember when they said, you pay your Wave 1 contribution and you don't need to worry about Wave 2? That was a bald-faced lie. They want more money if you're going to see your games. They're trying to talk their way around the outrageous shipping charges by listing out several different scenarios, but the problem with this is that all of the prices listed are for shipping, when they look like they should be the price of the damn expansions. To top it all off, if you backed in another language, you'll have to pay for an English version to be shipped to you. Then you have to hope enough people contribute for that language pack, so that you can then pay again to have your language pack shipped to you. Yeah, I'm a little hot about all this. In fact, I'll say it. If you can, get out of any game you've backed from these crooks. They don't deserve your business. There are better games, better companies, and better people to deal with in this industry. Don't let these leeches bleed you dry if you don't have to. I'm sorry if that's ugly, but that's the highly edited version of my internal monologue. So, happier subjects? How about Soul, Last Days of a Star? While the title might sound depressing, news from the campaign is pretty great. The pre-production copy of the game is in and it's looking quite nice. The insert looks to completely live up to expectations, and I hope to get a chance to see one in person. This looks like the best version of the game for sure. Ever wonder what's in the box for Dawn of Madness? Well, the color sample of the game is in, and there hasn't been a better time to take a look. They've posted a full video going over most of the components, but the picture's worth 1,000 words as well. SAS Rogue Regiment needs a bit more time in the oven, it appears. Rob is working through the rules and mission books, and they sit about 35% complete. So much has changed through the development and testing that these booklets needed massive overhauls. Being cautiously optimistic, they're looking towards Q1 of 2024 for fulfillment now. Sadly, we'll end on another small hiccup announcement. Forsaken has, in their own words, made a mountain out of a miniature molehill. Their manufacturer needed changes made to the STL files for the miniatures to be able to properly produce them. They attempted to save some money by having the original sculptor do the corrections, but language barriers and unclear requirements got the better of them. No shame in trying to do something yourself, though. In the end, they're having to fork over the money for the changes to be made by the manufacturer, and a little bit of time was wasted. It's not a huge thing in the overall timeline of the project, but a small delay nonetheless. Some good news to close us out, though. They've been hard at work with Foreteller and should have some samples of their efforts to share very soon. Alright, I apologize again for taking so dreadfully long to get things caught up and back on a normal schedule, but we're getting closer and closer to being back to the norm. The next news video is already in the works and should get me completely caught up. And then I'll be dropping some of the mini videos I've been putting together on the side. Thanks to everyone watching, commenting, and supporting the channel. The best and easiest way to support the channel is hitting the subscribe or like buttons. Both are free and they help little channels like this grow into bigger and better voices in the industry. Have a great week, keep a tight grip on that wallet, and play something fun this weekend.